we were talking about the causes of bacterial vaginosis. And like I said at the very beginning of the program, vaginosis, of course, is a combination of there's an imbalance between the bacteria in the body that do the body good, and the other ones that are quite on the other side, but such that there's an imbalance. There's trouble somewhere, and so an imbalance can occur for different kind of reasons. One of which I had mentioned earlier is having sex with either a new partner, or you have sex with someone who already has some kind of imbalance here and there, or you have sex with multiple partners. You have met multiple partners. Of course, that's just one of the very, very major causes of bacterial vaginosis. And if you're the type that likes to doubt, I don't know, I've told women over time when I have the opportunity to do so, doubting doesn't mean you are clean. The body has a way of taking care of itself. The body has its way of cleaning itself. So everybody at one point in time or the other, even after sex, that's why they advise that immediately after sex, it's good enough for you to just stand up and go and wee. It's a process at which it will help you flush. If peradventure there are one or two bacteria that are not good for the body, it will help flush out immediately after sex. It's good that you stand up and go to the toilet, go and urinate, go and wee, make sure that it gets out of your body. Okay, so don't just think staying there and at the end of the day you keep doubting. When you say doubting, people put water so deep into the vaginum and it's so deep, and you keep doubting and putting water out, and some would even use soap to wash. It's not advisable that you use soap. Just use water and clean up and rinse clean. That will be okay for you. Doubting will only make it worse. So no doubting, women. Listen to that. No doubting. Not using barrier methods such as condoms. Okay. If you know, for example, those who have, you have multiple partners, multiple sex partners, and you just cannot do without having multiple sex partners, it will be good that you try as much as possible to use condoms, at least to help you save yourself. But sometimes it's, I don't know, I wouldn't usually like to, give that advice all the time. Abstinence is just the best thing, especially if you're the type, you keep going back and forth. But if you don't use condom, one thing is that it's sure that you will definitely, get these things. Okay? So, and sometimes pregnant women are at risk of bacterial vaginosis. And the reason is because their immune system is not as strong as it would be if they were just, if they weren't pregnant. As it is, whatever nutrients that they use, whatever nutrients is in the pregnant woman's body is being shared right now with someone else, with the fetus in her. And so one way or the other, her immunity is not as strong. And there's every tendency that every little touch, maybe just ordinary using a toilet that is not that clean, she could get, a bacterial vaginosis. So being pregnant could also be like a major cause for bacterial vaginosis. Then sometimes there are some antibiotics that you use. Funny enough, most times if you go to the hospital and you say, oh, I have bacterial vaginosis, or you're diagnosed with bacterial vaginosis, so to say, it's still antibiotics that will be used. But sometimes using these things without a doctor's prescription, sometimes people usually will just use it immediately after sex. They will tell you to use this particular drug immediately after sex just to prevent pregnancy. Some of these drugs might be harmful to you, and might be the resultant effect could also be that bacterial vaginosis will come to play. Now, there are some things that could be like a risk factor. You don't have it, but if you move close to some of these things, it could be a major risk factor. So one of it is that when you use some certain feminine hygiene products such as vaginal deodorants and douches. We had talked about douche the other time. Some people use some vaginal deodorants just to make sure that you're smelling nice and everything like that. It's better you just stop all of those things and let your vagina be clean and let it be a natural thing. And when you use I don't know if it's when you use a perfumed bubble bath. Some people like to sit in the bathtub and just enjoy themselves. And there are these liquid soaps, perfumed liquid soaps, and they have these bubble baths. People like it and everything like that. If you are used to it sitting in the bathtub with those bubble baths, it's not good enough for you. Someone will say, wow, I didn't know about that. So you're hearing about it right now. When you use some scented soaps, don't use scented. Just use ordinary mild soaps. If you have to, that is if you just have to wash the vaginal area, just use a mild soap. Bathing in water that contains antiseptic liquids, okay? If you just are you need to use this antiseptic liquids, just little droplets in the water and just wash the surface like that. Don't douche with it. Okay, please don't douche with it, and be careful not to use all of these antiseptic soaps. Washing underwear with a strong detergent. My advice to people most of the time when they ask these questions is that whenever you need to wash, don't even use a detergent at all. Whatever the kind of detergent it is, don't use. Use the mild soap, the normal mild soap. I don't want to be on air right now. I'm not, so I won't be advertising for anybody. Just use a normal mild soap and wash your underwear. That's just it. And for some ladies who like smoking, smoking will just aggravate and make things worse. So if you're the type, if you're the type that you're used to maybe like 4 sticks in a day, maybe just try as much as possible to reduce to like 2 or 1 in a day, so as not to, because all those things are, if you move close to them, they are major risk factors to getting bacterial vaginosis. So quickly, before we round off on the program, we are almost at the end of the program today. We just want to smile and laugh over some particular things and talking about health fun facts. Now, I need you to know this, that chocolates are good for your skin. It's an antioxidant and it improves your blood flow. Somebody will say, how many chocolates do I have to eat in a day to get a good blood flow? Well, and chocolates, this is it. Just take chocolates. It's good for your skin. And it doesn't mean you have to do everything you do. Just make sure it's just at a minimum rate such that it won't end up affecting you at the end of the day. Now there's another one here. It says, although it only takes a few minutes to eat your meat, it takes your body hours to completely digest the food. There is this saying, I can't remember this saying in Yoruba, that you would like to eat meat in your mouth for a long time, but your throat will not allow you because you will have to swallow it quickly. So most of the time, we don't even chew as much as you are expected to chew before you swallow. But as it is, you can see here that if you just, even if you chew and you swallow, and it takes you just a few minutes to chew and swallow, it will take a longer time. It takes hours. It takes your body hours before it can completely digest the food. It takes hours to completely digest your food. So, which means that if you have to eat if you're the type that likes doing some in-betweens, you better be very, very careful. Just make sure that your breakfast, lunch, and dinner is just, at the proper times. So you don't just do unnecessary in-between, so that you don't make your kidney begin to do some overload of work. Let me just stop there at those 2 health fun facts for today, and we'll be having more to talk about next week. If you're still with us here on Fortress Radio, I have some good news, and at the same time, I'll be asking us to do this, especially those of my fans who watch me all the time on the program My Health and I. Right now, Fortress Radio has been nominated with the Primus Media Awards for Listener's Choice station on internet. So we have been nominated, and that's the good news. But for us to make sure, for us to win this award, it's now in your hands because you need to vote. Vote starts from today. And as time goes on, we'll be communicating with you how you need to vote. And your votes, whatever votes you do online, will just cost you 100 naira only to vote and make sure that we win this particular award. I know you were there, you love me, and I know you love Fortress Radio, and so I will expect that you just do this for me, do this for us, do this for Fortress Radio, and we'll be very, 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 very grateful. So I'll communicate online with you what it would look like, what your voting would, how you will be voting online, and the moment it's on, please just click. Even when the program is done, while the program is being streamed, please just click on your click on the share button, and make sure this goes viral as much as possible. And on Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube, it's just still Fortress Radio. If you're just joining us and you don't know anything about Fortress Radio, our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube is just Fortress Radio. Just type in Fortress Radio and it will pop up. And on Twitter is _ at Fortress Radio, just the underscore. That's what makes a difference. _ at Fortress Radio. And to make things even easier for you, you can also download the Fortress Radio app. Download the Fortress Radio app, pick up your phone, get to your Play Store, and find Fortress Radio, and it's just Fortress Radio Ibadan. Now make sure that Ibadan is part of it. You'll find Fortress Radio, Fortress Radio, Fortress Radio, but Fortress Radio Ibadan. When you do that, it pops up, and please, you can begin to download, and make sure you click on your likes and on the share buttons to help us go more viral and better, and of course to win this particular award. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. And I hope that next week will be another wonderful time to discuss another very, very sensitive topic that we all can relate with and will help our lives in general. So no matter what the matter is, what matters is that your life matters. I'm used to saying this all the time. Whatever the matter is, just know that whatever the matter is, what matters is that your own life matters. Thank you for joining us. See you again next week. Ciao. Good health is not something we can buy. Okay, how do I know? Or what are those things I'm supposed to see if I have hypertension? However, it can be an extremely valuable savings account. High blood pressure can, of course, lead to heart problems such as heart diseases, stroke, kidney failure, vision loss, and even more. Join your health matron, Bukola, on My Health and I every Wednesday by 12:05 to 12:35 p.m. You deserve to be healthy. Do a BP check and find out what's going on in your body. My Health and I.